We had the county engaged as well, so they can provide a brief on the evacuations, and then, people like to hear from the Forest Service, the state, and then, just get everyone on the same channel. And
perfect, yeah. And then let me just make a quick call to let them
You're
know
fine.
that we're about to go.
I sent an email.
Oh, are you guys doing a live feed again?
Yes,
No,
we both are.
no,
We are.
not necessarily.
Hey,
They just like
it's
to,
okay.
they like to listen.
That's fine.
All right, perfect. We are good to go.
But you guys are live on your
We are
website?
live with audio,
Okay.
so we'll be good.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Can you see both of us?
Oh, sorry, I need to scoot over.
We got you both.
Yep. Okay.
Perfect, perfect. And stand by. We are rolling.
Yep.
Excellent. Once again, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Tiffany Davila, and I'm one of the public information officers with Southwest Area Incident Management Team, Team 3.
Excellent. And let's just talk about kind of the latest information with this fire in regards to acreage, containment, everything like that, the latest information on this fire.
Sure. So the fire is still sitting at about 9,500 acres, 0% containment. And again, we want to stress the fact that this is a challenging fire for our resources. Wind driven. There's a lot of dead and down in the burn scar, the wall of fire burn scar, that the fire basically burned into the burn scar and kind of pushed through because of a lot of the regrowth in that area. It's burning through that. It's burning through the dead and down. It's driven by the wind, the fuel component in this area, and of course the terrain. So it's really been a challenge across the board. So it may take some time to get containment on the map, and so we ask for the public's patience with that. The firefighters are working 24/7. We have a night shift engaged. We had a night shift the past couple of days since this fire started. So they're actively working with suppression efforts. But again, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. One, with the weather, the red flag warnings we had over the last couple of days, and then of course all of the components with the fire as well, the terrain, the fuel, and the topography.
Do we have an updated number of how many personnel are currently working on the fire?
We have about over 400. And that's in the form of hot shot and hand crews, engines, water tenders. We have heavy equipment, some dozers assigned to the fire as well. And then also we have a mutual aid system here. We have a lot of resources from across the state that are really working mutual aid to support the local fire departments with their medical 911 calls. So while your fire departments are actively engaged on the fire line, we've got resources from across the state that are working here in the communities answering those 911 calls.
One of the questions that we had, just for clarification and maybe to explain to people, was why the aerial attacks weren't happening throughout the day, why they weren't starting at the very beginning of the day, and I think that that's an important thing to clarify for people why they're not able to do that. Can you do that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. We couldn't fly. It was way too windy the first day. Our lead planes act as the eyes for our heavy aircraft, and they're the ones that really make the call. It's too dangerous. So we launched large air tankers the day this fire started, but because the fire saw 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts, it was unsafe for these aircraft to fly. They fly too low to the ground. It is dangerous if we're flying in that type of wind. So unfortunately, over the last couple of days, we weren't able to fly heavy aircraft. We were able to launch some water scoopers yesterday. Today is the day we really took advantage of the weather. We took advantage of that decrease in wind, and we had heavy aircraft working today. We had multiple large air tankers working today. We had scoopers working, and we had about 5 helicopters working. So our first priority on this fire is the safety of our firefighters and the public. And unfortunately, we tried as best as we could that day one to get that aircraft launch, and it was just unsafe to put those planes in the air.
If you wouldn't mind talking about, and this was a little bit discussed at the meeting, the direction this fire is going, and clarify, or correct me if I'm saying anything wrong. They were talking about this fire is really, the direction that it's moving is northeast towards town. They said west side is pretty standstill, a little bit on the south, but mostly northeast. Is that correct? Can you just tell us the direction this fire is really moving towards?
So that was accurate. It's moving to the northeast and the east in some areas. That's kind of where the fire expanded yesterday, because we did have high winds again yesterday. So the fire did push out to the east yesterday, but it really is moving to the northeast, again driven by the wind and the terrain. But we had a lot of resources working on that northeast and east flank. That's really where the majority of our aircraft worked today. They also worked on the south side. Some of the fire got caught up in a canyon near the Little Colorado River area. It pushed through some heavy fuel, and that's why we saw that thick smoke this afternoon, is that's where that fire was burning through that dense fuel. So we had helicopters working that area today.
So we did see today that it looked like FEMA was going to be getting involved. There were some legislators from the state who had really been voicing that you guys need help out here. We don't want to make you, speak to that or speak to any legislation, but what is the resources that you are hoping to get to continue this firefight the way it needs to be?
So I'm not sure about the FEMA aspect. I can touch on that briefly. So the state asked FEMA for a fire management assistance grant. We were approved. That grant helps with suppression costs. So at the end of the day, when we get the total for how much this fire costs, FEMA could pay us up to 75% of fire suppression costs for this fire. There are certain criteria that we have to meet in order to get an FMAG. Not every fire is going to get an FMAG. There has to be so many communities impacted, a number of homes, et cetera, et cetera. But today we were approved for that FMAG. In terms of resources and boots on the ground, if we need additional resources, we have those people at our fingertips. We have an ordering system in place with the state, and the feds have that same ordering system as well. If we need engines, hand crews, extra aircraft, overhead, we place an order. It goes up to our region, which is the Southwest region. They fill the order for us, and either that comes through Arizona, New Mexico, or we could get resources here from out of state as well if we need that.
Another question that I had, something that they touched on during the meeting that I think you guys hit home again and again, but it seems like people don't always want to listen because they get scared about their property or they forget something. How important is it for someone who is in the go status to not go back to that property, even if they've forgotten something that they consider to be really vital?
Well, oftentimes they can't go back because we have roadblocks and law enforcement usually won't allow them back. But again, that's on a case-by-case and incident-by-incident basis. If we do allow residents to go home, they're usually escorted back. But I think the best advice for residents that are in set is to be prepared and have a go bag. A lot of times the people leave behind their prescriptions. That's probably the most important thing that people need. Pack your prescriptions, pack your important documents, have some water and snacks and some clothes, because you may not get that ability to go back to your home. People have left their pets before thinking they're only going to be gone for a couple of hours. Sometimes people are out of their homes for days to even weeks. So it's very important that you're prepared ahead of time. Have that go bag ready, sign up for those emergency alerts, and make sure you're prepared in the event of an emergency. And we're just not talking about wildfires. I mean, we have flooding issues here in the state as well. So just be prepared so that you can exit safely and everything's easy for everybody when they're evacuating the areas.
Another thing I wanted to ask you is, again, today was a great day. We saw a lot of aircraft taken in the skies and really attacking that fire from above. What is it looking like going into tonight, into tomorrow? Are we expecting the winds to kind of pick up? Is this really going to just be our time frame of the winds are died down, we can use this aircraft, we got to use these aircrafts before these winds get back? Tell us the process heading into tonight and tomorrow.
Well, we're going to take advantage of this weather right now. So we're going to take advantage of what we have, and we did today with all of the aircraft. Moving forward, again, we have a night shift working overnight. The overnight humidity levels are going to increase, and that's really going to help moderate the fire activity. So that's really when we're able to get in there and establish and dig our heels in with containment line, because the activity has decreased. So they have a better opportunity to get more hand line in and more dozer line as well. Over the next couple of days, we're still going to take advantage of the weather, but we have to be very careful and vigilant. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves because we have another wind event coming in. So at this point, we're going to try and establish more containment line. We're going to improve and strengthen the containment line that we already have established to ensure that it's going to hold in this next wind event that's coming up.
And then this is another question that I've gotten a few times, I'm sure other reporters have too, is that you have people saying, like, I can't even see I'm in the go status, I can't see the flame, sure I see a bunch of smoke. Why can't we just lift those evacuations, let us go back and be there until, another time? Just kind of, and I believe you touched on this before, just your response to that, people saying, can't we just lift the evacuation orders?
Sure, and that's an excellent question, and we understand the frustration of residents. They don't see smoke, they don't see flames, why can't they go home? Let's take the Greer area, for example. There's still a lot of heat within that area. That was the heel of the fire, they anchored it in, they secured it, that line's been holding over the last couple of days. There may be no flames, there may be no smoke, but there's a lot of lingering heat and hot spots. You could be walking in your backyard and fall into one of those ash pits. So it's not only a matter of there's no heat and there's no flames visible, but there are those issues and those safety concerns on the ground. So we want to make sure that there is no heat remaining and that it's safe to allow our residents to go back home. The last thing we want to do is have to run an emergency call because something happened, or let people back into their homes and have to re-evacuate them because something happened.
Last question from me, and I think you talked about this a few days ago. Is this still considered like the top priority fire in the Southwest region? I know because you said with Instant Command they got to worry about New Mexico and other parts of Arizona. Is this still considered the top priority fire?
I haven't honestly looked at the situation report lately, but this is one of the biggest priorities in the region. Again, because of the communities impacted, the amount of structures affected and impacted as well, and the people that are evacuated. So we were able, again, we have that aircraft at our availability at our hands. We've got the LADs here in the state. We have a VLAD in the state. So this is a priority fire for the state and the region as well.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think you all covered it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Perfect.
You got it.
Perfect.
So you guys are heading back down the hill today?